Elf Bowling's a 90s browser game showing that early old internet is just not funny or good, despite what 30-year-old men will lie to you about. It's a game about the elves going on strike and Santa using them as bowling pins. And the DS port of the first two games is one of the lowest reviewed games ever. Simple enough, and I guess why not, they made a movie about it. We begin on a pirate ship.
Dirty hoe?
Oh, it's the Dirty Toe. That's not better.
I'm sorry, baby. I love you.
These pirates apparently steal toys and resell them at high prices, and these scalper pirates are led by Santa Claus, which is actually not that weird given St. Nicholas is the patron saint of sailors, merchants, archers, repentant thieves, children, brewers, pawnbrokers, toy makers, unmarried people for some reason, and students in most countries in Europe. So honestly, the idea of Santa Claus being a pirate's not that far-fetched. This movie might be smart.
Who pooped in the peanut barrel? Who pooped in the peanut barrel?
Or not. But Santa's not a bad pirate. He puts the toys in a wicker basket and lets them go to sea, in which they should just sink to the bottom of the ocean immediately, and even if they make it somewhere, it'd be like that one beach that keeps having Garfield phones wash up because a cargo ship dropped a box in the 80s, all crusty and gross and waterlogged. Santa's apparently a bowler, and his legal name is Santa Maria Clausewitz Kringle. And he's got a brother named Dingle who looks a little like White Snoop Dogg. He's a thief among thieves, and he's played by the legendary Tom Kenny. Santa forces his crew to bowl with him, and he gets Dingle to fudge the numbers, which gets immediately spotted by Santa's parrot. So mutiny! Santa immediately throws Dingle under the bus, which leads into a fight, until the crew pushes them off the side of the boat and they freeze. Despite them wearing stereotypical Caribbean pirate gear, I guess they are in the Arctic, in which they're found by some snowboarding elves. This is about the time I should mention the animation is really bad. Okay, I guess rephrase that. The animation is average, but there's this weird texture on everyone that gives this weird porous look. It's definitely CGI trying to be claymation, but it just makes everyone look really gross. The main one, Lex, has a magical crystal ball. This is never explained, and it does basically whatever the plot requires, like unthaw Santa and his brother, who immediately threatens to slit their throats. But luckily Santa resembles Whitebeard, the elf messiah, who will return one day and lead them. Outside of this scene, this will never be brought up again, so Santa just rolls with it for now. They head to the factory, which apparently was designed by the kids next door, to look at duple bobbins, which is their weird elvish word for toys, despite them speaking no other funny word. Crystal ball can also easily fix malfunctioning machinery. Turns out the elves just make toys, they play with them for a little bit, and throw them into storage. I would say something, but that is kind of just what toy collecting is. Oh no, the elves are onto them, so Dingle goes for Alexa's ball. Doesn't go too well.
Uh-oh. Call my lawyer.
What the canoodle was that?
Yeah.
Well, it's me favorite game, lad. Bowling. Elf bowling, that is.
And thus we have a title. The elves then armpit fart in celebration of being knocked over like bowling pins. So instead of just Santa abusing his striking workers, it's about the elves being a bunch of rope bunnies. So Santa just wants to use them to get a sled so they can get out of here and take revenge on their pirate crew. But then he gets seduced by Griselda, who's German and likes to bake and is like 4 times the size of all the other elves. And Dingle gets to hang out with the penguins of Madagascar.
You give away toys, right? Well, we make toys. You can give away the toys we make to children every day of the week.
Nah, too much work.
So Santa gets a suit. I guess if I have to give the film something, I do like the elf design. Well, yeah, there's definitely a bunch of duplicates, but for every white elf with a beard, there's another female elf and an elf of color. I always love casual diversity like this, and it's very important for kids to learn this, eventually leading to a better understanding and acceptance of all people.
There's Rebel, who's in charge of packaging.
Yo, when the presents need wrapping, I'm the one make that happen. My feet start tapping, my hands keep a clapping.
Hi, Tom. Please stop voicing characters like this. It's not a good look on you. Lex then uses the crystal ball to make a sled and living reindeer. But then Candle, the Jewish elf, and Bagger remind Santa of something important.
Something magical and full of wonder.
It's called a contract.
Singing a song about how the elf union will only work if Santa keeps them happy. But luckily these guys are very easily amused, so we're off to deliver presents and whack his former crew. There is no evidence saying that he didn't kill them all. And after this point, other than Santa to continue to have a Cornwall stereotypical Long John Silver pirate accent, other than the swords reappearing later, the fact that Santa Claus was a pirate is never brought up again. Despite being a Caribbean pirate, this apparently happened in 600 AD because shut up, Santa Claus delivered to the Spanish Inquisition. I wasn't expecting that. Santa and Grisilla got married and he became immortal, and Dingle became immortal from association, but he didn't really do anything with his immortality and became kind of a freeloader. Fred Claus ripped this movie off. But then there's some evil twist. Luigi's on the naughty list. Lies, scandal, heresy. Santa Claus, you corporate shill. And with all that corporate money, he built a new extravagant bowling alley and kicks his brother out. So Dingle challenges him to some elf bowling. Winner takes over all Christmas. And they only get one throw. They're not playing a full game of bowling. What do you think this is? And what's with Santa Claus on the cover? He looks like an inflatable. So Dingle switches out two of the elves with some penguins. And he wins! But then basically right away he's caught that he was cheating, and this was completely and utterly pointless because Dingle goes back to scheming and sings a song about how evil he is like nothing happened. So later the toy production's behind, and the penguins are sabotaging some machines and making it look like Lex did it, driving a wedge between Lex and Santa. Lex runs away, and Dingle tells Santa in his surprisingly modest house. So Santa drifts on an iceberg to go find Buddy the Elf, but it turns out that Lex was actually a penguin. So now that Megatron stepped out for a bit, Starscream tries taking control, but no one respects his authority, so Plan C, they just blow up the factory. Santa sees this, but he's frozen again before he can do anything. And Lex, instead of using the crystal ball to fix everything, he finds a note. So like 2 out of 3 Christmas specials ever, Christmas is almost about to get canceled. So the elves aren't happy, so they're striking. And Dingle sings a song about how they should strike in Fiji. There was an elf bowling sequel, Hawaiian Vacation. Yeah, close enough, they're both Pacific Islands. They literally all pile into the Air Pacific.
Today's movies in elf class will be Gremlins, Gremlins 2, and Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, you don't want to watch his elf film. And now that we're in the final act of the movie, let's introduce our secondary antagonist. I gave this film diversity points earlier, but now we gotta realize the only 2 female characters in this film's a dumb blonde Germanic stereotype who likes to bake for her husband, and a gold-digging bitch whose boobs jiggle way too much for a kid's film, who's introduced so late into the film and impacts the plot so little they might as well have not even tried. I'm not even positive they even gave her a name because Dingle mostly refers to her as Winch. They finally make it to Fiji, and they meet the chief and party for a minute. But Dingle's plan comes into fruition as he slams the door on Lex and hypnotizes the elves that previously worked for free to work for free. Dingle then goes for Lex's ball again, and unlike last time, he doesn't get shocked and he's able to take it. And the plan appears to be just to be the Santa Claus 3 and sell the toys rather than give them away. And then Dingle literally sings a song about how great slavery is.
For the richest man around, if you keep in mind that through all time the dirty and low down have known that slavery is the best game in town. Now get to work!
Santa's then freed from the ice from the power of love or whatever, as Lex crashes into the chief's hut, and he finds out that he didn't need the crystal ball overall. It was just a useless totem, and the magic's actually in him the whole time, or not, because Dingle uses it to animate 2 Moris, who are surfer bros for reasons. So when Santa arrives, they get captured and buried up to their neck. Lex finds him and they apologize, which hits the Mori really hard.
This is like a chick flick, except instead of smoking babes, dude, it's a munchkin and a fat guy.
Dingle's almost finished with his 10-move supply. So to get past the other Mori, they use the chief to summon a sexy lady out of fire, distracting them so they can literally hit reverse on hypnotizing.
Huh? Where the bleep am I?
Yeah, and what the bleep's happened?
Hey, how come my underwear's on backwards?
Excuse me? The elves are rioting. But Dingle's about to escape, Santa catches up. Catfight, whatever, as Lex uses the Force to get control of the orb back, and again, the orb seems to have magic by itself, so what was even this earlier? But Santa saves Dingle from free falling. So he challenges him to another game of elf bowling. And again, they're not playing a full game, they get one toss each. And Santa's ball is replaced by a bomb, which is immediately found out, and Dingle's false victory is caught. So they strap fireworks to the penguins, and both of him and the penguins blow up. So now with Dingle dead, they finally use the orb to repair the factory and go deliver presents. There's about maybe 6 minutes of elf bowling in this hour 20 film. I mean, there wasn't really high standards, this isn't Zelda or anything, but it feels like the film wanted to be a raunchy kind of Christmas comedy with like beer references and a lot of sexy ladies. But then for whatever reason, they trimmed it back to be a PG film. With ugly texturing, dumb plot, hardly any bowling in this bowling film. Lex's magic powers are inconsistent and dumb because they want to do a magic's in you all along, but the crystal ball is also magical. And the pacing's so bad it feels like they took 3 episodes of a show and stuck them together. There are a couple cheap laughs you can get from the film, and I guess it's better than a lot of other garbage I've seen, but I'll still give it a 3.5 out of 10. But let me know your thoughts down below as well as smashing that like button and subscribing.